Hi guys, I am here at the True Story. This one is called Angel in the Tree. Ralph Waldo Emerson, all I have seen teaches me to trust the Creator for all I have not seen. Amen. Apple. Oh my. Angel in the Tree. During World War II, young Mildred Lee moved in with her parents when her soldier husband was sent overseas. Mildred's 5-year-old daughter Genevieve enjoyed being the apple of her grandparents' eyes. But Mildred worried about her husband, so far away. Would he be killed? How could she manage without him? One evening, the stress evidently became too great. Little Genevieve awakened to the sound of her mother screaming and trying to climb out of her bedroom window. "There's an angel in the tree," Mildred kept crying. "An angel outside our house." It took both her distraught parents to restrain her from leaping out the window. "She's huge, in a shiny dress with the most beautiful light around her," Mildred said, weeping. "She'll protect us, I know she will. Please let me go to her." There were 2 ancient horse chestnut trees in front of the house, one on each side of the road, but certainly no one had ever seen an angel in either. And in the 1940s, people who had visions were considered to need protective care. Mildred was taken to a mental hospital and over the next 2 years received 36 shock treatments to cure what everyone assumed was a nervous breakdown. Oh my, that poor girl. Genevieve's father came home safely from the war, collected his daughter, and moved to a nearby town. What about his wife? Guess he just gave up on her. Then Mildred was released from the hospital. She came to us a different person, very childlike. I wonder why. I shocked her brain to death. She came to us a different person, very childlike, says Genevieve, and Dad and I began a life of caring for her. In those days, no one acknowledged mental illness. Everyone in the family simply pretended nothing was different about Mildred. But at least one day, when no one was around to overhear, Mildred would tell young Genevieve how special they were because a beautiful angel was watching over them. And who's to say she wasn't? They shock her like that. That's horrible, man. She should be able to sue them. "I can't see her now because she's in your grandparents' tree," Mildred would say, "but I know she's there." At 17, Genevieve left home to marry Jim Weaver. At about the same time, her parents moved in to care for her ailing grandparents, back to the house where Mildred had seen the angel. Better watch out, they'll lock her up again. Apparently, the angel was still there. As the years passed, my mother talked to and about the angel more often. Genevieve recalls, if someone dropped by, Mildred happily described the angel's clothes or the beautiful light around her. Gotta watch saying that stuff, especially back then. Relatives and neighbors sat on the porch in the shadow of a huge tree, wearing earnest expressions as they listened to the stories and watched the rapturous look on Mildred's face. Gradually, they formed a tender conspiracy. What did it matter if their innocent, vulnerable Mildred had hallucinations? Who was she harming? And it was a nice thought, wasn't it? An angel watching over the house? Genevieve's grandparents died, and then her father. Suddenly, she had full responsibility for her mother's care. It was easier to move Mildred into Genevieve's busy household than the other way around, and that is what she did. But Mildred was lost, like a little soul, grieving for the angel left behind. There were nights when I would drive the 20 miles back to my grandparents' house, which was still unsold, and sit inside and cry over the situation, Genevieve says. I missed my father, and I didn't know what to do about my mother's unhappiness. Yet sometimes I sensed that the answers were in the house itself, and everything was going to be all right. Eventually, she and Jim decided to sell their house and move Mildred back with them to the place she had always loved. Good. Mildred was ecstatic. Once again, she sat on the familiar porch, singing hymns and talking to the angel in the shadow of her beloved chestnut tree. Soon I will go to be with her and your father, she would tell Genevieve. Genevieve felt serene too. The house, even the tree, seemed to welcome her, comfort her. Their decision had been a good one. On September 9th, 1989, Mildred died. Just a few weeks later, Jim came through the front door, wearing a puzzled expression. "Have you looked at that tree?" he asked his wife. "Mom's tree?" Genevieve hadn't. But when she went to the window, she was dumbfounded. At the funeral, both huge chestnuts had been heavily leafed. Now, although the one across the street was still robust, the weaver's tree was a black skeleton, withered and lifeless. "What happened?" Jim was asking. "Healthy trees don't die overnight." Genevieve looked at it. Like a faithful guardian, it had spread its shadows across her entire family, and within its boughs her mother had found peace. Genevieve would miss the tree, she knew, but its job was done. Its mother's with the angel now. Her mother is with the angels.